everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hourglass, episode 3, More Than Tits and Ass. Still don't know if I'm going to keep that, but it works for now, and I'm just going to do it pretty much. Hey everyone on Instagram, and hey everyone on Twitch. So yeah, this is going to be epic. This time Instagram is vertical instead of horizontal because a few people have mentioned that the horizontal kind of gives them issues, I guess. So we're going to try it out. I have to keep my charger on the phone for obvious reasons so it doesn't die. So it's kind of like tilted a little bit because of that. So hopefully it doesn't fuck up. But yeah, awesome. Let's get right into it and begin. The first thing I actually want to talk about is last night, Francis and I watched a documentary on Netflix that I actually highly recommend a lot of you watch. It's a PBS actually documentary, and it's called In Defense of Food. I don't know how any of y'all end with healthy eating and just food in general and just knowing the knowledge behind, macros or protein and fat and all those other little nutrients and vitamins and all that fun stuff that goes into what we eat on a daily basis. And I'm not trying to bombard y'all with, you better eat healthy. I don't care. Eat pizza. Do whatever you want. I wish I was eating pizza right now at this second. But yes, and watch it while you're chilling. Netflix and chill. I mean, seriously. And it's actually easy on Instagram now that I can actually read what y'all are saying to me. So Instagram, feel free to write things, and Twitch, just go ahead on the chat and write whatever you want, ask questions, say whatever your heart desires. I'll try to read as much as I can. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, like I was saying, check out In Defense of Food on Netflix. Highly, highly recommend. It's very entertaining. The author, I unfortunately cannot remember his name, but as well as basically the host of the show, was really entertaining and fun to watch and very informative. He breaks down the history of food and what created the epidemic of no fat and low fat. Where everything says, ice cream says low fat or no fat, or cookies, or all of these products. And it's very, very informative because a lot of times, and even myself with trying to maintain my weight or look healthier or just making sure I eat healthy in general, it's very hard to it gets confusing basically, especially if you're looking to lose weight. I've done that and trying to understand, I've been eating, Greek yogurt, and that's supposed to be high protein and good for me. Well, you're not looking at the underlying terms of the sugar content. Even though Greek yogurt or just yogurt in general is good for you, all of that added sugar that you're not really realizing can kind of play into a factor. And I'm not the kind of guru that you should always be listening to. I always say on my podcast, take what I say with a grain of salt, very little salt, and then go apply it and listen to other people, especially those individuals that are pros in certain fields, such as this guy. And he took the amount of time to read articles and just to find a scientific process and understanding of what is good food and what is food that we should be eating. Such as, he was never, an example, he was never saying fat is bad, because you need fat. Everyone needs fat, especially if you're losing weight. Macros, I highly recommend you look that up if that's something you're interested in pursuing or learning about, either losing weight or even gaining weight. Knowing your fat, protein, and carbohydrate content is very key in success as far as what will help you lose or gain weight. But aside from that, yeah, fat is important. So he was more laying down the idea of what caused this high saturation and what became of margarine and all of this craziness that people are now scared to consume fat. And a lot of the saturated fat came from meat, red meat in particular. And he never said, don't eat red meat. You can eat red meat, but in, moderation. And everything is in moderation. And I, again, I'm not no guru. I've had my moments where I just overeat a lot. I just never stop. But it's something I highly recommend you just looking into. It's really entertaining. It's not one of those boring, you're in school and you have to watch this documentary. It's really well shot, well written. Everything about it is good. It's on Netflix. Check it out. You can chill with your homie. You can chill with your lover. You can do whatever you want. It's really good. The reason why I bring this up is kind of to start the episode. Yeah! It's always nice sometimes when I'm by myself because I can talk about whatever I want. But no, I kind of want to relate my episodes to certain things that I've either dealt with personally or that relates to my modeling career or whatever my heart honestly just really desires in the long run. I also feel like it's a good chance for me to kind of get to know y'all if you'll want to share more info about yourself. And carbs are definitely tasty. I will agree on that. And for y'all to even also get to know me a little bit better if that's something that y'all are curious about. So this week's episode is more about body positivity. Yay! The reason why I brought up that movie is because food plays a huge role in the human body, basically, for obvious reasons. And with social media and how we see magazines and celebrities and just what the society kind of throws at us as the ideal human body, it has been kind of draining on a lot of individuals, me especially. And I want to just add this in here, just in case. The names and the things I may say in this episode, I'm not meaning it in coming as a rude or a bitch or somebody that's looking to gossip or talk bad about somebody. I'm not doing that whatsoever. So don't be trying to switch my words mouth and reach out to any of these people I may mention and be like, oh, did you hear that l.shima said your name on her podcast? No, it's not like that. It literally is I'm trying to applaud the people that I've written on here and also kind of just shed light on the topic itself. So again, take what I say with a grain of salt and let's get right into it. So body positivity, the first thing, and like I said, I have notes. Sometimes I don't really go with the notes, but I have them just in case. One of my biggest things that recently happened is the good quote, or some people might, because apparently there was some gossip towards that too, with negativity, like always. But one of the quotes that I actually wrote as the first sentence is the quote, "Show me something natural like ass with some stretch marks." And if you can guess who said that quote, you get some l.shima brownie points. I'm gonna wait a second just to see if anyone wants some points. Anyone? Bueller? Nope. All right. Kendrick Lamar said that in his Humble video, or Humble song. And so it's true. As far as we've gotten into a world, thank you everyone on Instagram, y'all get some mega brownie points. It is true, because especially nowadays with images and our easy access to taking photos nowadays, we would originally just do some crazy weird filter, and that was pretty much it, like MySpace days. All you would do is a filter or really try your hardest to get at a MySpace angle and try to make yourself look real good as best as you possibly can. We still do that, but that was back in the day. Now with the access to Photoshop and Lightroom and whatever else software that you can use to edit photos and imageries and even videos, editing and fixing body has been a pretty, it's not like always a bad thing, but in my mind, it's kind of like an epidemic. It's kind of just blown over to the point where some people won't even allow it. Some people have negative thoughts towards it. Kendrick Lamar even has to rap about show me some stretch marks and even show in his video of a girl having like natural skin versus the photoshopped version of it. And it's crazy that it's gotten to this point. And I know body image has been a thing in the past, even to the point way centuries back ago, being basically overweight was actually looked upon as being a positive because that meant that you had enough money to feed yourself to be that big. And like I said, don't take like me saying big as a negative. It's not a negative at all. It's just a way of me trying to find another adjective instead of having to use the same word over and over again. But yeah, being a certain weight back in centuries ago actually was a positive. And if you were really slender and your bones were showing, that was looked as a negative because that meant you were poor. You were basically malnourished. You couldn't afford enough carbohydrates or any of these fats or protein to keep your weight up. And as, kind of similar to how fashion changes, just not as dramatic as fashion, but it eventually kind of evolved when food got plentiful and we were able to basically afford food, and then to the point where we were able to plant our own produce, when we were able to plant our own produce and raise our own cattle, and then to the point where farmers would just feed cattle these grains that we wouldn't want because it was not tasty to us, such as whole wheats and whole grains. They would feed the pigs and the cows these things and give us this bleached white flour instead. And that process of that caused us to realize, okay, now we can get food at a lot better prices, a lot cheaper, especially now with like saturated fats and oils and margarine too. On top of it, we were able to just deep fry everything. And don't get me wrong, deep frying certain foods is delicious. But with that said, it doesn't really react very positive to our bodies, especially if you eat a lot of it. And I'm not really going to get super huge into like just food in general. I know I kind of started off this way. I'm going to kind of save that more for another episode. But overall, we kind of changed our outlook on what a healthy human body should look like. And now even with fashion, we have just seen ourselves as, okay, I need to look what the magazines show me, what all these models look like, or what all these celebrities look like. I need to look like that because that's what society is making it seem like. And even to the point where like you're at a grocery store and there's all of those magazines right in front of your face, or all of these certain foods in your face, and they're easy to cook, and all you do is just pop them in the microwave and wait 3 minutes, and bam, you have meat and potatoes and maybe a couple of vegetables. And so we have this idea, especially myself, again, I'm not like excluding me from this topic at all, but seeing these individuals and what society wants me to believe is healthy or gorgeous is a slender, flat tummy. Nowadays, you do want the hourglass. Hey, the hourglass shape with a decent size, tatas, titties, boobies, chichis, whatever you want to call them. And then also with a slender waist, but then also with a nice derriere to follow right behind it. And that's been kind of normal in the past, especially with reproduction and like sex and shit like that. I mean, obviously when you saw a girl or a lady have some nice boobies to them, or even a nice derriere, you might think, as a man, or even female, or whoever, that, oh yeah, you are ready and fertile. But with that said, though, I grew up seeing these magazines and just these celebrities, and I always thought I had to look just like them. I had to be slender. I had to be 5'6", even though I'm 5'3", so I'm short as shit, and I can't do nothing about it. I ain't gonna put no stretching my legs like they used to do, or maybe they still do, whatever. I'm not touching my height whatsoever. But as far as my weight and my overall physique, I thought, and I still kind of do, think that I need to be slender to be gorgeous, right? Yeah, it's really bad. I know. You can be like, l.shima, don't say that. I know. It's just that's how my brain works. So with body positivity, and now that we're in a transformation with trends, in a sense, people are coming out more and more and more and saying, I don't need to look a certain way just to be famous, or just to be popular, or just to be gorgeous, or just to be healthy in general. I think, what was that singer's name? Didn't write her name on here. Adele. I do believe Adele, like, when she first originally came out, there were companies telling her, okay, you sing really great, but you just need to work on your physical human self to fit in and for us to sell you a lot easier. And of course, she was like, no, I'm not gonna do whatever the fuck you're telling me to do. I'm gonna do what I think is right and what I am happy with. And a lot of people applaud her from that. And there were countless other people that kind of took that role. An example, again, I'm not slandering any of these people. They're just examples. Where you have the new age models that are kind of starting trends, such as Kate Upton and Ashley Graham. Especially Ashley Graham and a few other plus-size models. They kind of took a new wavelength for fashion as a model. And a lot of people kind of look up to them, especially people that are similar weight or size as themselves. And that is fantastic that they were able to do that. They probably went to thousands of agencies and everyone probably told them no and kind of denied them, but they kept pushing and pushing and tried their best to just do what makes them feel happy and not feel the pressure. I mean, not necessarily feel the pressure. I'm sure Ashley Graham felt pressure and shit, but she didn't change herself to fit in a specific category just to become famous or successful or well off or whatever the case might be. And yeah, so it's crazy because with that being said and seeing those basically quote unquote famous models succeeding with the physique that they already have without really trying to alter anything, it is true though, they still get photoshopped. Especially like Kate Upton, for an example. She was one of the covers on Playboy that were like one of the first covers she did. I don't know how many covers she might have had, but I for sure know the first cover she was on Playboy. You could clearly see that they edited her body and even her face. And when I say body positivity, I also want to clarify, I'm not just talking about like weight and like your stomach or your tits and your ass. I'm also talking about face too. I'm just talking about everything that your body basically. And people kind of gave them so much applaud, but then nothing necessarily, like there's things that have changed, but Photoshop being so accessible, nobody kind of learned from it. They're just like, okay, so yeah, Ashley Graham might be plus size and, kind of thicker than a Snicker in a good term, not a bad term, but let's still like kind of smooth it out. Let's just take this one roll out, just so it's not overdoing it, overpowering the magazine or the photo or the video, whatever their case might be. And so those famous models still get retouched. And even freelance models, they've actually made a name for themselves for being very body positive and just being happy in their own skin and not really worrying too much. Their photos may still get edited here and there based on color and maybe some wrinkles on their face or acne scars or blemishes. And they might also get a little bit of the curve tool kind of rounded on their physique as well. But overall, there's a lot of freelance models that have made a name for themselves as a body positive human being, and a lot of people look up to them, especially other females. And I always applaud people that do that. It's always nice when they're able to do whatever their heart desires and not let anything or anyone get to them. And the real reason, or not really necessarily the real reason I wanted to talk about this topic is because it's something that surrounds my career. And it's something that I deal with on a daily basis. And it's something that a lot of other models, male or female, deal with on a daily basis. And one of the parts of my job is focused on my looks. Like if I was an illustrator like Francis, or if I was a musician or a videographer or photographer like Steven, or anyone else in the artistic field, when people have some hate or rude comments towards their gift or their artistic skills, it's never really, I mean, it can be about them, but it's just more about what they're doing as a musician and how they're strumming the guitar or their illustrations, and maybe that person just didn't like a certain piece. But as for a model, when people have hate towards us or have negative comments or even positive comments, but when people have comments towards our job and what we're doing and the photos that we're taking, it always comes back to our looks. And I will just say, it fucking sucks. I deal with it every single day. And I'm very, 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 very mother love and fortunate that I have not gotten a lot of negative hate towards me or bashing. I have, like, I'm not trying to say, like, I'm this lucky person that's never got negative shit before. I have for sure, but just not as much as what other people make it seem like they get. And I'm very, not proud, but like I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that that has happened to me, and I don't get too much bashing towards myself. But it's like, if you watch the first episode, I've been through some very thoughtful things since I've started this career. And this career, you don't really necessarily go to school. You can't really necessarily get a mentor. I mean, you can, but they're really hard to come by because models, for some damn fucking reason, they don't really like to share as much or be very helpful. There are a good amount that are helpful and nice and will respond to you, but majority of the models in this industry don't even, like, they won't even give you the time of day, no matter how good your work is or who you are. I don't know why. It's a very, very competitive fucking industry, but that's why I do the podcast, to kind of like bring some light into that world. But yeah, so where I'm getting with this is because I wanted to kind of express my personal issues or my concerns that I've dealt with. And ever since, like I said, when I was younger and I would see these magazines, I always thought I had to be a certain way. I had to look a certain thing. And I never thought like I had to look like I had to be white. Although sometimes I always did feel me being like a mixed race made me as an outsider. I never really was white, but I also wasn't Black, and I wasn't also full Japanese. I was all three of them, so never really had, like, I never had a niche, basically, because I was always kind of an outsider and an outcast based on my race. And again, I'm very fortunate that I've never really had a lot of negativity even before modeling when it came to my race. I never felt like I was stereotyped or anything along those lines. I tried to be kind to others as they were kind to me, and if they were asshat towards me, I didn't like them, and I never gave them a time of day. But with that being said, though, when it comes to my body, I always thought I had to look a certain way. And especially for my sake, with weight in my physique as well as my skin. Those two things I feel like I do not do well in. You may be like, Shima, you need to relax. And I wish and I hope I will get to that point with like a lot of meditation and a lot of just kind of like insights and just realizing my thoughts and everything like that. Woosah. But until then, that is how I feel. I feel like my skin is not good at all. I'm wearing makeup right now, so you might be like, oh shit, your skin's good. I'm wearing makeup. I'm not wearing as much as some people do, but I am wearing it, so it's kind of hidden a little bit. Plus, I got like strong light coming in, and it's all good. And then my weight, that is the biggest thing I've been kind of stressing about, basically since I've started modeling. Before I modeled, I was working, well, technically, before I modeled, I was working 2 jobs back in Austin, Texas. And I didn't take care of myself back then. Since if you've ever worked 2 jobs or even more than that, you know what life's like. So I was constantly eating, Chick-fil-A was my go-to since it was down the street from one of my jobs. I literally was eating fast food 3 times a day for every meal, plus snacks with chips and soda filled in between because I like to munch on anything and everything. And so during those times when I was roughly around 18 or so, I never took good care of myself. I never even learned how to cook. I remember because I'm the youngest sibling, my sister would make hot dogs and macaroni and cheese every day for dinner, or not every day, but she would do it when she had to babysit me, and that was kind of the easy route to take. Love you, sister. And then same with my mom. My mom would try to cook, and we have like a funny joke in our family that all we ate was chicken Caesar salads. Because that was her go-to, was just get some salad, get some Caesar dressing, and then grill some chicken on the George Foreman, and bam, that's it. But she would cook us good meals, like enchiladas and tortilla soups. She would do like a soup thing, like during the winter season, and it was really glorious and everything. But she never necessarily taught me how to cook, and I never really wanted to on top of it, so I'm not blaming her for that. So when I was 18 and I decided I wanted to pursue modeling and take it more serious, my weight was, in my mind, not good. I would take photos and I didn't think it was good imagery. And there was nothing I could do about it, technically, because I wasn't willing to learn Photoshop, and I was not willing to hire retouchers to fix these concerns that I had towards my images. And I was more hoping that the photographer would know and understand how to retouch, that they can make an overall fantastic image of myself. And still to this day, I don't actually, I pick my photos now, but if you saw episode 1, for a good amount of my career, I never really picked my photos. And so a lot of those times was because if I received images back from a photographer or a client in general, I would just see myself and my flaws. And I would only pick things that my flaws looked very minimal. And so I kind of basically judged images based on that, and that's not good, especially to make it stand out and everything. I wasn't looking at composition. I wasn't looking at the overall editing and the colorations of the photos. I wasn't looking at the overall aesthetic of the image as well. I was just looking at myself, and if I wasn't happy with how I looked, then I was just not happy with the images at all, and I would refuse to post it. So I would have Francis come in and pick my photos for me, because he would actually look at everything else. And there are photos I have posted on social media that I really do not like, because I don't think I look good. But I trusted Francis, and I thought he had my best judgment towards that, and he was going to pick something that would represent me in the brightest way possible. So I kind of let it just slide. And it's funny, because those photos that I dislike, y'all love the hell out of them. And then the ones I'm like, oh, this is such a good photo, post it. Yeah, it's like a deadline. It's just nothing is happening towards it. And so it's like, oh, okay, then obviously my mental capacity is just all over the place. Anyways, so when I started modeling and I noticed that I wasn't happy with the way I looked and how social media portrayed, or not necessarily social media, because when I started modeling, social media wasn't as huge. We did have Facebook and Tumblr, and then Instagram came about a year or two later. So with Tumblr and Facebook, there wasn't really much body issues. It was all what the magazine showed, and all what TMZ, if TMZ existed back then, what they would show, and those gossip magazines would talk about, and seeing your favorite fashion model on on these fashion pages, it makes you wish, oh my god, I wish I looked like this. I wish I had a flat tummy. I wish I could wear a 2-piece with no concerns. And you just keep looking at that. And I'm sure, guys, y'all have the opposite, in the sense where you want muscles, you want them abs. And maybe I might be wrong. I'm not a guy, so I have no idea, and I can't talk about that at all, because again, I'm not a guy. But I just assume guys especially, they'd rather just have tight abs and biceps and traps protruding out and chicken legs. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm always just speaking as a female model, because that is what I am, and that's the only thing I can give. Hopefully I'll get a male model in here, and then they can talk about the male side of that. But until then, it's just me talking about female models. And so, yeah, I was just never happy with the way I looked because of what society made me to believe what is a gorgeous body. And even still to this day, I am not happy with the way I look. I feel like a lot of people are like, Shima, shame on you, or whatever. And I know, like, it's bad. It's bad to think that way. Like, I'm so aware of it, too. It's just something in my mind is not letting me let that go. I spent 4 to 5 years since I've started, so 5 to 4 years since today, working on my health and fitness. I even took like almost a year off from, I didn't necessarily take a year off, but in my mind, I really heavily focused on my fitness than anything else and my health. I've tried diets before, and I even tried the diet where the 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss. I don't know if you may or may not hear about that diet before, but that diet basically all you could eat was meat, protein, legumes, so that's beans and all those little fancy things, and vegetables. Those were literally all I was able to eat for at least a month. And I listened to the podcast that he was kind of explaining the book about, and everything sounded fine and right in my mind after listening to it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to give this a shot. It was miserable, or I was miserable the entire time. I was not happy. I even remember the first 3 days, that whole withdrawal moment. I literally had a shoot, actually, and this was when I was living in Florida, and I was just not happy. I felt so sick. I just wanted to just eat an entire pizza all by myself, and I tried to get creative with making the food taste good. And I'm the kind of person where I don't think I can eat the same meal over and over and over and over again, even if it wasn't the 4-Hour Body, even if it was just following macros and making sure I hit my macros in a day. Hitting the same macro and eating the same meal every day, I don't think I can do that because I've tried it a few times, and after a while I get burnt out. I love food. It's my weakness, truly it is. And so me being able to change up what I'm eating every meal or every day, kind of like is exciting to me. It's like that adrenaline rush. Having pizza one day and then pho the next day, and then eating a salad the next day, but then eating a hamburger. And it's weird because I'm also vegetarian, so like when I say these things, just imagine no meat. But yeah, I spent 4 to 5 years trying to make myself into the ideal body that I feel like I should look like. And seeing freelance models such as Sierra McKenzie or Lilius Wright or the countless other ones that actually have great physique and they're not slender. And again, I'm not saying this in a negative term at all. I actually love the way they look, and hopefully, I imagine they love the way they look as well. But I feel like I almost resemble their body now. And that's, again, not saying it in a bad way, but for me and what I see for myself, that's not what I want. I want the body. It's weird because when I first started like working out, or even before I started working out, I never wanted straight cut abs. I didn't want to look like a fit model. I wanted just to look like those glamour models, basically, those ones with the really flat tummy, just flat tummy, that's it. And that's all, honestly, is my concern with me now, is just my tummy. Like, I think my arms are fine. I mean, I don't care about that, and I know that's muscle anyways, but I mean, well, I don't really know if this is muscle, but I don't care about this. This does not concern me whatsoever. Same with my legs. I don't care about my legs. Same with my ass. I don't care about my ass. I don't care about any of that stuff. All I really care about is what my tummy looks like, and my tummy does not look flat. And I've gotten so stressed about it to the point where I've cried about it. And again, first episode, I'm a crier. It happens. I'm surprised I haven't cried on the episodes yet. One day it may happen, but let's hope not. But yeah, I would just start being so stressed about the way I looked and how I should look for my photos. And even the times when I felt the greatest, my estrogen levels were skyrocketed and I had a photo shoot and I felt so powering and gorgeous and fantastic and thought I was doing an excellent job with modeling, I would get the photos back and be like, damn, I was sucking in my stomach as hard as I could. Or I was trying to make sure my posture is also an issue I have, but I was trying to make sure my posture and my shoulders are back. I was just doing all of these things to prevent my overall body to look as great as I possibly could. And when I got those photos back, it just made me get so sad. I was like, fuck, do I really look like that? And to a lot of other people, they will see those unedited, untouched photos of me and be like, Shima, you're crazy. And I know, it's insane. I'm loco. No, I'm really not. But I know those thoughts that I have of myself are not positive. And I am working on the whole ideology of body positivity. It's something that is very important. And if I were to have kids, I would want them to feel great about who they are and what they look like and not have any concerns for what other people may think of them. And that's what I also want for myself. I'm just working on that. And a lot of things are going in my mind fast and fast and fast and fast. I got my friends on Instagram Live. This is fabulous. It's making me blush because now I'm like... But yeah, so I would just have these negative thoughts towards what I wanted to perceive. And I even told Francis actually a few times, if I wasn't modeling, I would be 100% content with the way I look. Like, no doubt, I would be like, cool, I look like this, let's do it. But with modeling, I have this just idea of what I should be. Even though there's Kate Upton and Ashley Glam and the freelance model Sierra McKenzie and all of those others that are doing their best to just be them and what they look like and do it with no issues. At least that's what it makes it seem like. Even having those influential models with not the slender body type doing something that they want to do, seeing those people, you would think, oh, okay, that's amazing. I want to be just like them. But I'm working on it and I haven't made it to that point. But overall, no one should tell you how you should look at all. If you are unhappy with how you feel with yourself, then of course you can try your hardest to change it and nobody's preventing you from doing that. Especially like with fitness and health. I feel personally, for everyone, just be healthy. Make sure you're obviously eating at least either 3 times a meal, or there's that whole intermediate fasting, or there's the keto, or there's all those other, like, not really diets, but those lifestyle eatings. If keto makes you happy, go for it. If you can live off of keto your rest of your life, do it. As long as you're staying healthy. If you go to the doctor and they say you have high cholesterol or low blood sugar, then obviously listen to them and do what you need to do to make sure your body is at least healthy. And there's a lot of people that say, you know, because even growing up too, I would go to these like Whole Foods, for an example, and I would feel like confused when I was 18, like, oh, I'm at a health store, but there's a lot of overweight individuals. And you would think, like, aren't you supposed to be? But they were happy, I would imagine. They were happy with the way they looked. And they were just doing the healthy things. They were getting the vitamins that they needed to supplement, or they were eating a vegetarian diet, but they may still eat a whole bunch of pasta. And they weren't necessarily concerned about it because they were content on the way they looked. And as long as their body was healthy and happy, that was the end of it. And that's what I'm trying to work with my own self, is just to be healthy and happy. And I feel like I'm definitely healthy. I try to work out every day, and Tara, if she's still on the episode, she knows I try to get on to the gym as often as I possibly can, and I lift them weights as best as I can, and I hate almost every second of it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate every second of it, but the running parts I do not like. I do but I still do it, and I still push myself, and I just try every day to look at the positives and to just realize I'm healthy. There's nothing wrong with me as far as health goes. I eat 3 times a day. I do a vegetarian diet, and that's because I chose to do it that way. Again, you should watch The In Defense of Food on Netflix. Very informative of vegetarian diets. He never tells you to do it. He just tells you some scientific evidence towards it. And even he'll show you, though, the scientific evidence of eating meat or eating fish or eating poultry. But personally for me, vegetarian diet is what I chose and what I actually enjoy the most. And even just overall, aside from weight or physique, there's also the body positive of what our face should look like. You see people getting liposuction, liposuction is the opposite, Botox. You see people getting Botox and getting perfect lips, fluffy lips, or getting their cheekbones a little bit more high up, or pulling their eyes back, or getting somehow rid of the wrinkles because they're getting to a certain age and they feel like they need to look completely soft and no wrinkles whatsoever. And I personally would never do any surgery to myself like that, lipo or Botox or whatever fancy shit, enhancements where the ass gets injected random shit that shouldn't be injecting in your body in the first place. I would never do that to myself. I'd rather go a more natural, healthy direction, even if it takes me 10 years to finally succeed at it. I'd rather it take 10 years than for me to get that instant result and know that there's some weird chemical floating in my body that it shouldn't be there. And same with like acne. I've had issues with acne since I basically turned into puberty, a teenager basically. I remember being young and I would make fun of my sister and my brother about the acne on their faces. I was like, ew, what's that all over your face? And I was a kid at that time, so I had no effects whatsoever. But as soon as puberty hit, bam, all of those red spots and whiteheads and blackheads just started forming and going berserk. And I remember my sister still to this day, she says, yeah, you were covered in acne because you made fun of us and that's karma getting your ass back. She will still say that to this day. And she may be right. I was a little freaking horrible child and I was making fun of my siblings, and baby Jesus, God, whatever you believe, was just like, yeah, Shima, all right, let's do it. Kind of got me back for it. But even with acne, I still kind of suffer with that, and it's not even just like on my face, it's on like my back and other like I have like, well, I did at one point like little acne like parts just even on my arms. I even had like a whitehead right here, and it's something that like almost makes me feel what's the word I'm thinking of? It makes me feel and that's not doubt, but I can't think of the word, but it just makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't feel as gorgeous with the skin I have. And I will say I have not been to a dermatologist, and I would love to actually. Just my mother needs to send me my health cards, please. If you're watching, doubt you're watching, but you know, never know, she might be. So yeah, with acne though, the only awesome thing about it is you can hide it a lot of times if you really want to. Like now, I have makeup on, so I'm kind of hiding it, so it's not in your face. But once that comes off, all of these flaws just show and radiate in my, like, when I look at myself in the mirror. And I've been a lot more calm about, especially with acne. Self-conscious, yes, thank you, gosh. See, this is why I do it live. So y'all can like tell me and help me out on certain words. But yes, that. But I've been a lot more calm with my acne, as far as especially on my face. Like, especially at the gym, I will not wear makeup. At least I try not to. It's rare that even Tara has ever seen me in makeup at the gym itself. Because I've gotten more better at not feeling the need to always wear makeup every single day and every single hour of the day. When I was in grade school, that's all I would do though, was just pile up the foundation, and then eventually, oh, your eyebrows need to be dark. All right, let's pile up on the eyebrows. Let's get some eyeliner. Let's get some lip gloss. Let's look good. Let's good for these young teenage boys at the time. And I would even like wear heels to grade school. I don't know why, but I did. Whatever. Didn't like get me anywhere. I just thought it looked good. And so I would, just pile on the makeup. And I don't know when I stopped. I really can't remember. I think it might have been just I already found a guy in my life, and I'm like, I don't need to look good every single day. I can look like a slob if I want. Like, literally, I'm wearing Coca-Cola pants. Because also, like, this podcast, you can't see below my chest, basically. So I can wear whatever I want. And usually, like, this is something I'm wearing. Or every day. Or actually, gym clothes is what I'm wearing every day. Like, leggings and a sports bra and, like, a top. And that's it. And no makeup. And I've been fine with that. Going into public, like, with people that I may know, I have a hard time doing that still. Like, no makeup. I've done it a couple times. I just don't feel fully comfortable. But, I mean, I'm gotten a lot better with it. And hopefully that will kind of go into terms with the weight and physique and all that other stuff. But in due time. And so when I talk about body positivity, I'm just not talking about weight. I'm talking about overall everything else. Some people change the color of their hair because they feel like highlighting their hair like this makes them look even better. Or I had bangs at a time in my career, like straight across bangs, had black hair, and my hair went to about like right here or so. There was even actually when I first started modeling, I had red hair and it was short to about right here. So I would like change my hairstyle because I thought that's what makes me look good. And even though I had like the boyfriend at the time, which was Francis actually, even though I already like was dating him and everything, I felt like I still needed to look good. I would change my hairstyle constantly to try and make myself look good, or even wearing certain clothes. Obviously when you have an event like a black and white cocktail event, you're not going to wear sweats. But overall, a lot of people will. I knew this girl. Sorry, my brain is all over the place right now. Because I kind of already talked about what I wrote, so I'm kind of just filling in the blanks basically. But when I what am I going to say? I lost the train of thought. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. That happens. But overall, I can't remember, and I really want to because I felt like it was important, but obviously it wasn't important enough if I can't remember. So yeah, I don't know if any of y'all have questions. Y'all have been awesome. I've seen a good amount of friends actually just like pop on Instagram Live, and it's cool to see that because sometimes that never happens, and it's like, oh my god. Oh, and also weird side note too, if you did catch episode 2 with Stephen Crossan, you do remember Stephen Crossan during the whole craziness that happened last week. Stephen Crossan mentioning about like the person that he gets like all happy with when that person like likes their stuff or his stuff. And so I shared to him my giddy people. I call them giddy people. And so actually one of my giddy people messaged me the other day about the podcast, and it made me like, awesomely enough though, he gave me like feedback, so it was cool because I like when people give me feedback. But he gave me feedback, and so it was very helpful. But on top of it though, he was like, yeah, you're doing like, this is awesome and amazing and all whatever else he said, and I'm like, yes. So I just wanted to throw that in there because it's just made me giddy, and I'm like, cool beans. But yeah, seriously, no, give me feedback. Like, send me an email or message somewhere, and if you like have thoughts on certain things, just share it. I don't fucking care if it may make it seem like I'm doing a bad job. As long as you like say, Shima, you're not doing a bad job, but then it'll be good. Or you don't even have to do that Shima, you're not doing a bad job thing. You can just throw it in there, and I'll be an adult and handle it with as much positivity as I possibly can give myself, because it's a critique, and critiques are good. Let me see what Instagram is saying. Natural beauty, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, is the best. And I agree. Like, I seriously do agree, especially nowadays. Like, and I don't know what they look like in real life, but like the Instagram makeup artists, the ones that they like do makeup on their own selves, some of the amount of makeup they put on their faces, like, oh my God. Do you need that much makeup? Like, I'm really confused. Like, okay, see, I'll be close. See, you can see you can see my freckles. I do have freckles, but you can see some little like blemishes. But I mean, not too much, because again, look right there. You can see it right there. You can see it right there. But I overall think natural beauty, and like Alicia Keys, she's been taking the storm recently, like the trendsetter. But she's been taking off storm with the whole natural beauty. I know there's a good amount of people before her time that would do it, but she's the more current one that's like starting a trend basically with natural beauty. You were talking about how you look before you dated Francis. Yes. Wait, what? Are you asking a question like, how did I look before I started dating Francis? Or what? Ray, what's up? Your personality is awesome. Keep it up the great work. See, Ray, you're gonna turn into my giddy person. I mean, I'm serious. But yeah, I that's what I like about doing the podcast is my personality. I said that in episode 1, I believe, but I feel like my personality is something that I don't have to look a certain way at all. It's just my personality. It's what I'm given, and if you don't like my personality, then obviously you don't have to be tuning in right now or watch later, like, for obvious reasons. If you don't like somebody's personality, usually you just try to stay away from them. And if you want to stay away from me, by all means, go right ahead. I ain't forcing you to be here right now. But yes, I think my personality's, again, I'm not trying to be conceited, but I do enjoy my personality. Out of everything I just talked about, I think my personality is amazing. You asked earlier, where was I? That was like 5 minutes ago, though. Oh, yes, yeah. We do got about 8 minutes left, and so before, let me see, Emily, read just to make sure I wrote everything and talked about everything, and yeah, I pretty much did. Photoshop, if you're a photographer and you edit photos, make sure you understand the anatomy of a human body. Just in general, I'm not like pinpointing anyone, honestly, like I'm really not. I mean, there are people that have done it. I can't think of who they are, but I just know you exist. But yeah, there's a good amount of photographers that alter the female form especially, but also males too. Just they alter the model form. And they take out rolls when rolls are actually supposed to be there. Like, no matter how skinny you are and you turn your body, there's gonna be a roll somewhere because that's literally anatomy. So study anatomy if you're gonna do retouching. Just saying that. Just overall. And same with like wrinkles and stuff. Or even, like, I learned actually from Francis. I hate Photoshop and I really don't want to edit photos at all. Like, I'll do colors and I still don't really like it. But as far as like body stuff, I really don't like touching stuff. But like these wrinkles that everyone has right here, your smile line. Yeah, look at that line. Oof, girl. The smile line, a lot of people will just take that off. Even professional photographers, like photographers that are on Playboy or on Cosmopolitan or whatever all those popular magazines are, they will completely take these lines off the face. And that like, you can soften it. Don't take it out completely. Just lightly have a subtle, let them show subtly, you know? Same thing with like if they have wrinkles under their eyes, or if they possibly have like that wrinkles on their foreheads. Just, you don't have to take it off completely. Just subtly, especially if they're giving expressions like if that expression and they posted it on a magazine. Obviously, I'm gonna have them wrinkles on my forehead because my expression, like, you can clearly. Anyways, I'm just throwing it out there. You ain't gotta listen to me. I'm just saying from experience. Okay, so let me get Instagram real fast. So everyone on Twitch, I am about to show. Let's do it before actually Instagram like ends, because that happens. I'm gonna show our special guest for next week. Yay! So give me a second just to switch. This is what I see. All right, so our special guest for next week is Claire Voyant. You can follow her at claire.duh. Yeah, those are the photos of her. She's gorgeous. She's a local Detroit model. Yeah, I went and followed her behind the scenes a while back ago, actually. It was like a month ago, and she's amazing. So, yeah, definitely check out her work and stay tuned for next week because she'll be on the show and she'll be giving her feedback on maybe body positivity because she's really knowledgeable when it comes to stuff like that, and a few other things. I actually did write some notes already about what to talk to her about. So come on the show next week and we'll do it big. Otherwise, does anyone have any other questions? You got 5 minutes. 5 minutos. And hey, I want to just share this real fast. Last week was a journey. It was a journey. This week, the software never froze on me, and I did not spill my tea. My tea is all the way over there. So all liquids are away from my electronics. I've learned my lesson. Kelvin, go for it. Go for it now. You got 4 minutes now. Everyone, is even anyone on Twitch? Hey, one person on Twitch. What up, Feng Shui J? I hope I said that right. I'm not really Feng Shui J. Go for it, Kelvin. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not mad with you. I know, texting. Kelvin's question is, will you marry me? Where's your ring, dude? No, I'm just kidding. Kelvin, you gotta... I'm trying to think of a silly answer back, but I really don't got one. My brain's kind of burnt. So unfortunately, Kelvin, I am seriously taken, and that man hasn't even married me yet because for obvious reasons. Actually, it's not actually what he would have married me 5 years ago, but yeah, just I'm sorry, Kelvin, though. What models have made you feel more content with your body, and are you a fan of Myla Dalbejo? I might be fucking that last name up. So their question is, what models have made me feel more content with my body? Well, seeing Ashley Graham, as far as famous models, seeing those models, Kate Upton and all of them, even Emily Ratajkowski, she is definitely slender, but just her and being a fashion model and having boobs and shooting the content she's actually shot in her life, those people kind of make it okay, I've shot nudes, but so has Emily Ratajkowski, and she's made a name for herself in a positive light. So I can do that too. But as far as body, just image, just body look in general, shit. Maybe I need to look up more influential body type. And actually, Claire, she did tell me she doesn't follow anyone on social media that doesn't have a similar body type than her because of that reason of body positivity and that whole mental state of worrying what your body should look like. She only follows people that look like her. And I thought that was actually brilliant. I've never even thought of anything like that. I've actually just don't follow anyone now on social media, except excluding Twitter. But hearing that, I'm that's actually smart though. So actually Claire is a fantastic model, and even Instagram gives you a countdown, 2 minutes remaining until it ends my feed. But yeah, I feel like I horribly answered that question, but I feel like that's my only answer. It's just the people I've mentioned, Sierra McKenzie, Elias Wright, those people are very influential when it comes to the body overall, and just their content too. The images that they shoot is remarkable. But I also do look at really slender people too, Adrienne Ho. I really love Adrienne Ho's work. Not necessarily, her physique is something that I technically dream of, but just her overall, her aesthetic is what I love the most. She was an Sports Illustrated guide rookie. Upton, Graham, and Ratajkowski are 3 of my favorites too. Yes, they're gorgeous. Well, I have mixed thoughts on Kate Upton. I don't personally think she is gorgeous in my mind. Don't hate me for it. She's not my type, but she is pretty. She is pretty. I will say that for sure. All right, guys. Well, Instagram's about to kick me out, and I want to maybe end it before they end me. So, everyone on Instagram, thanks for tuning in. Seriously, it was awesome. Yeah, see you next week with Clairvoyant, and be awesome, and life is more than tits and ass, because that's what Hourglass is about. All right, bye, Instagram. And everyone on Twitch and everyone on YouTube and SoundCloud that stuck it through this entire episode, I appreciate it. Feng Shui J, I seriously appreciate you being the rookie, or not the rookie, but the only one on Twitch. You're amazing. Seriously, you're amazing. Even though you didn't really write to me except for saying close enough with the alien smiley face. But, you know, I'll give you props anyways. All right, guys and gals and human beings and aliens and whoever else is listening and watching. Until next time, that is it. So...